So today, Thursdays are basically the day where I don't have to go to school until 6 p.m., which I need to leave like now, as you can tell. But I just want to kind of show all I've done today is freaking work on this stupid Twilight League video. So we'll talk about that as soon as I get back from class, which hopefully will be in only a couple of hours, but don't know yet. So, yeah. If you don't take away anything else from this video, please take away that you can have any Pokemon that you want to that fits the freaking regulations for this tournament. At school, be back. So, I didn't plan out any of this video. I didn't, think about what I'm going to say. So, we're just going to roll with it. So today, I sat down and I came up with this gigantic spreadsheet that you guys can probably not read there. I took my top 20 picks for the Twilight Cup. First thing that I did, which I will try to show you some quick screenshots of the actual spreadsheet. So I took Venomoth. I wrote down all the moves that Venomoth has, and I wrote down the stats for it. So this takes into account energy per turn and the damage per turn that they get off of that energy. So, Bug Bite has 3 energy per turn. It also does 3 damage per turn. Infestation gets 3.67 energy per turn with 2 damage per turn, yada yada yada. For the charge moves, we did the amount of energy that it cost and the amount of damage that it does per energy that it costs. So Bug Buzz takes 60 energy, and it does 1.5 damage for each energy that it took. So that would make it do what, like 90 damage? I then took, further down in my spreadsheet, I took the average of each fast move and each charge move, and basically took an average stat of the damage, energy, all that stuff, and just kind of run it down for each Pokemon. Then I actually take all of the averages for each move, and I run them through a formula to give me a numerical number for how much energy and how much damage they do. So that basically condenses all of the different move possibilities, averages them all out, and then reduces it down to one numerical value after everything is said and done, one for energy and one for damage. On top of that, you divide the amount of damage by the amount of energy, and you get another numerical value, which is just a way that I ranked Pokemon. Long story short, I tried to come up with a formulaic way to rank a Pokemon in PvP. I wanted to take it one step further. So essentially what I did is I broke it down into two categories. You are either a shield buster or a hard hitter. I'm trying to make this as simplified as I possibly can for anyone who has no idea how to get started in a Twilight Cup, because a lot of the people that I've talked to about joining my own personal tournament have no clue where to start. This is my way of taking 20 Pokemon and filtering them all down into two categories. These two categories I feel like are very easy to understand, very primitive, but also can be expounded upon quite a bit. So a Shield Buster. Shield Busters have fast energy gain, low energy charge moves. Their main goal is to waste shields, but they're usually fragile. A hard hitter is usually slower energy gain, but has high damage charge moves. Their main goal is to push damage, and they're usually a little bit bulkier. So these 20 Pokemon I then took and I put them into this kind of like vertical line graph. It was supposed to look more like a graph, but I've got graphs in my Excel spreadsheet, but we'll get to that. So looking at these 20 Pokemon, I took and ranked them using my formula. Frostlass will do way more charge moves than Tentacruel would. Because of the amount of energy that Tentacruel generates every turn is so much lower than Frostlass, and Tentacruel's charge moves cost so much more than Frostlass, mathematically, Frostlass is just going to get off way more charge moves. So that really got me thinking. Can you break it down simply into two categories? Possibly, as you can see, there's a limbo state right here in the center. Could you break it into two, possibly three categories and take these top 20 Pokemon and sort them out and just choose roles? Because ever since the induction of PvP, I have been very much in this kind of mindset where I have a point, a mid, and an anchor. A point is going to be a Pokemon that I send out first, and it's going to be my lead attacker. Then I have my mid, which is almost like my wild card, something that I may not end up using, but if the matchup is correct, then I'm going to be able to use it and use it to good efficiency. Lastly, I have my anchor, which is actually going to be a Pokemon that I know that's going to be bulky enough to take some hits, and it's going to be able to make me a good closing Pokemon. So these three categories are what I would almost consider a point, a mid, and an anchor. Lead Pokemon, wild card Pokemon, and then your hard hitters are going to be your anchors or your closers. Now, of course, this doesn't necessarily line up with everything that you will see. Most videos are going to talk about it a little differently. I'm trying to take a different approach. Shoot me for trying to be different, right? In this limbo state right here, you have 8 Pokemon. Out of those 8, I would consider those kind of hybrids, because if you look at Skuntank, Skuntank's actually one of the tankiest Pokemon out of these 20. But he actually has enough damage and enough charge move, energy gain, enough freaking everything to be considered really high on this list. Meaning that he is actually a really, really good hybrid there. I think that the way that I would try to portray this graph to anybody who hasn't really thought about team composition or anything like that is this graph is going to give you a good idea on how fast a Pokemon is versus how much damage it's going to put out. And that's all you want to think. This isn't best to worst. This isn't best to worst. It's nothing like that. This is literally just pure charge move advantage versus no charge move advantage. I mean, that's all I'm trying to get across here. Out of these 20 Pokemon, I actually have a few of them starred. These are the ones that I think make the most sense to me. I like these 6. These are probably my top pick for a team. So I actually have Drapion, Toxicroak, and Umbreon on the energy side. Drapion actually has super fast energy gain if you're using Infestation. Infestation isn't its worst damage output, but it is only second. But it does gain you the most energy. Plus, with Aqua Tail being such a low energy cost, only at 35 energy, you're going to be able to fire off those Aqua Tails very quickly, which I think is a big deal. Toxicroak, I actually have down for Toxicroak that Counter is actually, in my opinion, the better move here. It does 3.5 energy per turn, and it actually gets 4 damage per turn, whereas Poison Jab gains the same amount of energy, but it only does 3 damage, so you are getting 1 extra damage per turn off of that. And then the fact that Mud Bomb only takes 40 energy to fire off, it is his least damaging charge move, but it only takes 40 energy. You're going to be able to be a shield buster by firing off Counter and then Mud Bomb in quick succession. Like, that sounds like an amazing plan to me. On the hard hitter side, I actually have Azumarill. So Azumarill has Bubble and Rock Smash. So Rock Smash is actually going to do just a tad bit more damage, but the energy gain that you get off of Bubble is just almost insane. You do 3.67 energy at 2.67 damage, so you're actually doing more damage than Venomoth with Infestation or Drapion with Infestation. Especially, like, it's crazy. So, Azumarill with 3.67 energy per turn on Bubble, and then Ice Beam actually is its lowest cost charge move at only 55. Those are actually the 2 most preferred types for this league, but I think that only 5 energy away, you're basically going to have to do 2 bubbles, so you're going to get through 2 more turns before you have enough energy to just go ahead and fire off Play Rough. That's not bad at all. Play Rough is the worst damage output. Well, with Stab, it actually will probably do quite a bit more damage than Ice Beam, but Ice Beam just neutrally does 1.64 damage per energy. Azumarill actually charges up decently fast, but it's not nearly as fast as Toxicroak, because Toxicroak can fire off at 40, and he gains energy at 3.5 every turn. It makes him faster. It makes Toxicroak way faster than Azumarill. Next, let's look at Nidoqueen. That's the other one that I have starred in the heavy hitters. So, Nidoqueen actually has Poison Jab and Bite. Poison Jab actually does 3.5 energy per turn at 3 damage every turn. Bite is going to do 2 energy for 4 damage, which I think Bite is actually pretty good. I mean, it's definitely on the side that does very good damage. And we're going to get to that here in a second. For Nidoqueen's charge moves, this is where Nidoqueen, in my opinion, really starts to struggle. Both Nidoqueen and Nidoking both have this issue. Their charge moves are 65 energy for Sludge Wave, 65 for Earthquake, and 55 for Stone Edge. So you're getting a lot of energy cost there, which makes it a really steep hill to climb, especially if you've got Bite. With only 2 energy per turn, that's going to take you more than 30 turns to fire off Earthquake. We move on to this middle tier here. So I actually only have Skuntank start here. Another good one that I would actually recommend is probably Alolan Ninetales. Venomoth is actually really good here. I still really like the Nidoking idea, and here's why. So I'm going to skip over Skuntank if you can't tell. So here's why I really, really like Nidoking. Pick you guys up here. I really hope my camera doesn't die. I'm going to cry. So here's why I really, really like Nidoking. So both Nidoking and Nidoqueen both have decent movesets to where you can build them to be either or. You can actually build Nidoqueen. If you need to fire off these charge moves faster, you can actually build Nidoqueen to have Poison Jab instead of Bite. Even though you're not going to be pushing nearly as much damage, you're going to be able to charge energy a lot faster with Poison Jab. I think that they can be built to play multiple roles here. So let's say you don't have an Alolan Muck, or you don't have a Tentacool, or whatever. Let's say that you need a position field. I think both Nidoking and Nidoqueen work perfect in that scenario because with their movesets, you can build them into different beasts. So Nidoking is my favorite, and the reason that I say he's my favorite is because he has Poison, Steel, Bug, Poison, Ground, and Bug on all of his moves. He has 4 different typings if I'm counting that right. Yes, I understand that there are Pokemon that do these specific roles better. But in a pinch, Nidoking is a perfectly good freaking Pokemon to invest in. If you're in a bind and you need a Pokemon to fill a specific role, Nidoking and Nidoqueen will do great at it. They're going to be more on the heavy hitter side because they can't gain as much energy as some of the other Pokemon. But choose some of these to be your shield busters, and then you can have Nidoking or Nidoqueen be your tank, your heavy hitter. That is my entire purpose of getting these videos, because last month my entire vision was to give people another option instead of freaking Melmetal, because Melmetal was a one-trick pony. Tentacruel, in my opinion, is still a one-trick pony. I hate thinking that I'm stuck with this one Pokemon because it's only good for this one thing. Even if Tentacruel is the best in all simulations, I still think that it's worth looking into different freaking aspects. I think you should be able to explore different avenues instead of being stuck using freaking Tentacruel. I hate when people say, you better add a Tentacruel to your team or you're going to lose. So when I actually ranked all of the Pokemon with the energy to damage ratio, I actually ranked every single one. If you're looking for a Pokemon that is going to output the most damage per energy that you can generate, guess who that is? You're wrong, it's Venusaur. Next, the second best is actually Toxicroak. A Shield Buster is actually going to do as much damage as Venusaur in the hard-hitting category. I mean, that's kind of crazy. I'm flabbergasted. Frostlass is actually probably one of the better options if you need someone to break shields. The entire purpose of the video, if you don't take away anything else from this video, please take away that you can have any Pokemon that you want to that fits the freaking regulations for this tournament. But if you're looking for a 5th or a 6th, try to look at your team and figure out whether you have shield busters or you have hard hitters. If you have people that are going to push damage or if you have people that are going to break shields. Because that 5th or 6th slot is probably going to be dependent on which one you have. Because let's look at it this way. If you have too many hard hitters, let's say I went with these 6 Pokemon. I have Azumarill, Alolan Raticate, Venusaur, Nidoqueen, Alolan Muck, and Tentacruel. That's actually a pretty top tier team. You know, with Frenzy Plant, Venusaur, you're going to be doing great. Except, here's the problem. You're going to take ages to get off any charge moves. And that's not going to work. I mean, you're going to get beat down by charge moves faster than you can dish them out. So, let's look at this side. So, Frostlass, Drapion, Sableye, Golbat, Toxicroak, and Umbreon. Yeah, so let's say those are your 6 Pokemon. Out of those 6, Umbreon is the only one I'm pretty sure that has the tankiness to really, like, withstand a couple of charge shots. Otherwise, all these other guys are just going to get wrecked. And you're going to be able to trade shields with people, but you're not going to be able to output nearly as much damage as some of these other Pokemon. So you really have to start to weigh which side do you want to be on. That's all I'm trying to say. And if you want to flame me some more down in the comments, be my guest. I try not to argue with people in the comments. I try to at least get my opinion across, because that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to film my opinion and give it to you guys. You guys are the ones that decide if you agree or disagree. All I want to do is to make you think harder about your choices, because it's not so cut and dry. One of the things that I said a couple of days ago in a video is that this meta, I got up here and I said, oh, it'll be a rock, paper, scissors type thing. It's not quite that simple this month. So all I want you to do is to really, really think about your picks. Really think about roles that your Pokemon could play in a game. Because that's what I'm going to be thinking about for the next little bit as I'm finalizing my team. I'd say I have like 4 out of 6 picked. So that's actually it, guys. I went into this video not having a single idea how I was going to film it, and all I did was get up here and rant. I hope that you guys at least halfway enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you give a thumbs up. If you didn't, you can be that guy. Otherwise, let's discuss it down in the comments below. I'd be happy to discuss anything that you guys have to say. I'm not perfect. I'm not claiming to be perfect. I'm not claiming that this point of view is even perfect. What I'm claiming is that it's my point of view, and I'm trying to share it. If you guys agree with it, so be it. If you don't, it's all good. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have anything to say, make sure you say it down below. And until tomorrow, I have something to do really fast. So last thing that I actually have on the list today is we have our stamp to collect. And I have no idea what I have freaking saved in my researches. I'm waiting to do a whole nother batch of eggs. And, you know, I've got one more to hatch. Less than a kilometer to go. Let's look at this really fast. You guys want top or bottom? Top? Okay. It was a Voltorb. How depressing. So, yeah. That is actually all I have for today, guys. So, yeah. Let's talk about it in the comments. I don't know what to say. I'm done. I'm done.